Sad details about Ben Affleck's life after his divorce from Jennifer Lopez are coming out, and it's a bit concerning. It's no secret that Ben's dating history is a who's who of A-list names. He had a romance with Gwyneth Paltrow that became a huge thing in the late 1990s, and later spent a significant period with Jennifer Garner, who became the mother of his 3 kids. He also formed a high-profile bond with Ana de Armas, which dominated entertainment headlines for months. Over the years, these ex-partners have given the public glimpses into why these things might fizzle out. For instance, Gwyneth once shared on the Howard Stern show that while Ben was fantastic in many ways, he just wasn't in the right place for a serious relationship at the time. She didn't elaborate, but it left fans with the impression that he had internal battles overshadowing the romance. Meanwhile, Jennifer G parted ways with Ben after a 10-year marriage that included intense media scrutiny, and although neither of them elaborated on the precise cause, outside observers noticed consistent rumors about stress and inconsistent communication. This dissolution of Benifer 2.0, the affectionate nickname for both Ben and J-Lo, is now adding another public breakup to Ben's circle, we could say, further fueling, speculation that he might have a pattern of losing interest when things become hard. Indeed, Ben famously confessed in a 1999 Playboy interview that he tended to dodge relationship troubles by letting issues simmer rather than addressing them head on. Once he felt done, he admitted he would just fade away from the connection. It's a habit he hoped to overcome, but fans are worried that he's still carrying a version of that approach. If so, that tendency could have reemerged with Jennifer Lopez, and according to a source cited by People, while Jennifer Lopez tried to fix their issues, Ben chose to pull away from their marriage, effectively leaving her behind. So for a segment of the fan base, that old interview from more than 2 decades ago seems to still be relevant today. Many recall that Ben's earlier splits occasionally led to him making questionable public statements or appearing deeply affected by the swirl of coverage around his personal life. Dating all the way back to his star-making turn in Good Will Hunting, he has occasionally voiced discomfort over the spotlight, once remarking that he found it tough to keep going in his private life, and it became a subject to non-stop discussion. Some fans suspect that persistent negative attention, coupled with yet another divorce, may test his limits once again. His close friend Matt Damon has in the past spoken about how different their experiences of fame were, even though they ascended Hollywood's ranks together. Matt implied that he lucked out with a far lower volume of paparazzi interest, whereas Ben frequently found himself under a big light. The aftermath of a high-profile breakup can heighten that scrutiny, leaving him more exposed than ever. J-Lo once told Variety that she and Ben both felt overwhelmed by the level of interest in their first engagement in the early 2000s. This time around, the public fervor to see Benifer 2.0 succeeded with arguably just as intense, if not more, especially in the era of social media that we're in. Every date night, red carpet moment, or casual coffee run turned into serious gossip. Then came the wedding in Las Vegas, which fans adored as a sweet callback for their initial early 2000s romance. But success can come with a cost. The couple described feeling as though they were stuck in a perpetual spotlight. According to statements Jennifer Lopez made during promotional interviews, that unrelenting coverage sometimes overshadowed their real dynamic. During the filming of Deepwater, co-star Jacob Elordi revealed to GQ that Ben asked him about how to handle unremitting press coverage. Elordi recounted that Ben was grappling with feelings like everything he did was scrutinized. The older actor apparently confided that he sometimes wondered if he secretly craved the attention, then felt conflicted for wanting it. This conflicted perspective can obviously create confusion, leaving the star kind of uncertain how to navigate with this constant media intrusion. Ben also discussed in a chat with Kevin Hart for the show Heart to Heart how he's never quite adapted to people snapping his photos at every moment. He joked that people think he's always moody, but the real reason is that being trailed by cameras doesn't exactly put him at ease. Even when he attempts a simple grocery run, he might be greeted by a half dozen lenses capturing capturing his every expression. If one imagines going through a painful divorce under those conditions, it's no wonder some observers are concerned he could be feeling the toll more than ever. Ben's personal style came under renewed spotlight back in 2015 when paparazzi images surfaced showing a massive phoenix tattoo on his back, an elaborate design that some fans found puzzling. At the time, he claimed it was for a film project, but later admitted on the Ellen DeGeneres show that it was real and meant a lot to him. Critics teased that it symbolized a rebirth following his split from Jennifer Garner, and the public reaction ranged from supportive to downright mockery. So many wondered if the dramatic ink was a sign of an identity shift. Fast forward to August 2024, and fans were again abuzz when Ben unveiled a new look after apparently moving out of the home he shared with J.Lo. He was spotted wearing a black leather jacket, edgy band t-shirt, and sporting a shaved fox hawk. While some concluded it was merely a style choice for an upcoming project, others labeled it another midlife moment. People magazine even ran a piece discussing how drastically different he looked from his usual dada-like attire. Then, less than a month later, he already gone back to a more traditional style, fueling talk that the transformation was kind of short-lived, or maybe a role. Shortly before finalizing the divorce from J.Lo, Ben opted to buy a $20.5 million mansion in the Pacific Palisades area in July 2024. Sources close to the star told Radar Online he was relieved to find a property that suited his solo life more than the one he previously shared with J.Lo. For a moment, it looked like a step toward personal independence, maybe a chance to settle into a new chapter on his terms. But trouble wasn't far behind. In early 2025, January, a massive blaze hit parts of Los Angeles, including the Pacific Palisades. The Inferno forced evacuations and destroyed several celebrity homes, and unfortunately Ben was among those evacuated from the region, reportedly crashing at Jennifer Garner's place in Brentwood until that threat subsided. As images of the scorching flames circulated, fans feared that the worst of his newly acquired property was hit, while other footage later indicated that his house remained unscratched. As of mid-January, the sense of vulnerability hung in the air. Several close acquaintances stepped in, hoping to help him navigate this challenging moment. One insider shared with Page 6 that while the actor wasn't sure if the flames would reach his home, he was in contact with local relief groups wanting to be of service to people who lost theirs. In a move that grabbed headlines, J.Lo reportedly reached out to show concern for him as well, indicating that not all ties between them have been over. Some saw it as a sign of lingering goodwill, others saw it as unresolved feeling. Amid all these rumors about his state, Matt remained a cornerstone of Ben's support system. According to sources quoted by multiple outlets, reportedly Matt arranged for the two of them to spend more time together on day trips and public outings, partly to keep Ben from feeling isolated. The two have always been inseparable ever since their burst onto the scene of Good Will Hunting, and fans love the idea that their bromance is still going strong. Matt is known for having a comparatively drama-free personal life, so observers often see him as a stabilizing force for Ben. One reason friends are so keen to ensure Ben's well-being is that he's openly admitted in past interviews that continuous media chatter can be overwhelming. Headlines overanalyze every glance or sight of him, and a simple coffee run with someone unexpected can spawn thousands of conspiracy theories about his love life. While plenty of celebrities face paparazzi attention, watchers note that Ben's combination of personal complexities, high-profile romances, and occasional public statements make him a magnet for extra scrutiny. And in 2023, during a press junket for a project, he told an interviewer that as much as he tries to brush off the never-ending speculation, it occasionally wears him down. More than once, he's been seen looking visibly exasperated by the swarm of reporters shouting questions about his relationships rather than about his cinematic work. Some fans argue that if anything, the meltdowns over Benifer 2.0 only amplified that phenomenon. I mean, it can't be easy to have like all these paparazzi on him like 24 hours, so I completely understand why he feels like that. After every storm, he finds a way to make a comeback though, often surprising fans and people. And perhaps the biggest question is whether he can find lasting happiness beyond the flashbulbs. Can he carve out this sort of balanced life that eludes so many in Hollywood? While the tabloids keep spinning stories or alleged midlife overhauls and complicated personal entanglements, he may well be charting a path entirely of his own, working on new film scripts or preparing to direct the next big project. So yes, fans have reasons to be worried. A high-profile split, baggage from previous breakups, a property scare, and unrelenting cameras capturing every moment can be overwhelming.
Ben has been with J-Lo for a while, but after everything that went on in The Greatest Love Story Never Told, he's probably missing his ex. Here's why Ben Affleck regrets divorcing Jennifer Garner.
You really can't. So much of
More Jennifers than most have entangled Ben Affleck, and none of their romances have quite resulted in the happily ever after that he was presumably looking for. Fans were left more perplexed than ever by his on-again, off-again relationship with Jennifer Lopez, which had not one but two chances before imploding once more and ending in divorce. The other Jennifer, the one who still hurts the most, is Jennifer Garner. Affleck has stated unequivocally that all of his well-publicized breakups, the one with Garner is the one that haunts him the most.
And the vision that was planted.
He says that he is only responsible for himself. The first Jennifer, J-Lo, has an interesting story with Ben.
It seemed like a fairy tale, but it really wasn't.
The narrative of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's romance had been told for decades and has included numerous films, hundreds of scandalous tabloid articles, and even 2 failed engagements.
I'm engaged!
The 2 movie stars were one of the most attractive pairs to watch in the early 2000s.
This is my wife. This is the belligerent nurse that's been being so difficult with me. Miss John.
They eventually gained the moniker Benifer and dazzled their millions of devoted fans with their star power and red carpet appearances. But when they finally called it quits in 2004, they shocked fans everywhere by announcing they weren't meant to be. Fans were thrilled when the duo, who had split up with their previous spouses, got back together almost 2 decades later. However, despite another engagement, an unexpected wedding in Las Vegas, and a shared residence in Los Angeles, Benifer called it quits once again in 2024, and J-Lo filed for divorce.
It's such a meta story, right?
This couple is struggling to make a name for themselves in the world of Hollywood, even though a lot of people are cheering for them to ride off into the sunset together in Los Angeles. Many have hypothesized that Affleck's low-key lifestyle may not have been able to withstand the J-Lo effect, which refers to her capacity to greatly influence pop culture and only get better with age.
Standing just a little too close to me. You're saying not quite enough.
So back to Jennifer Garner. Meeting on the set of Pearl Harbor back in 2001, Affleck and Garner got back together for Daredevil 2 years later. However, they didn't start dating until 2004, and by 2005 they were hitched. 3 children, Violet, Serafina, and Samuel, were born into their family throughout the ensuing 10 years. Then, right after hitting their 10th wedding anniversary, they blindsided fans with a joint breakup statement. After much thought and careful consideration, we have made the difficult decision to divorce. We go forward with love and friendship for one another and a commitment to co-parenting our children, whose privacy we ask to be respected during this difficult time. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner have maintained an incredibly cordial relationship throughout their divorce, co-parenting like pros while Affleck went on and finally got married again. But in typical Affleck manner, he knows he's the one who ruined it all, which is why he still regrets how things ended with Garner to this day. Not because he still feels something for her, it rarely works out well when Ben Affleck marries a lady his friends detest. According to sources OK Magazine, his best friend Matt Damon never liked Jennifer Garner, with one insider claiming Damon told Affleck that if his wife just loosened up a bit, things could have been different. Matt believes Ben's marriage was in shambles before the nanny. There was too much anger there. Damon wasn't pushing for Ben to end it, but he knows Ben will be happier with another woman. There are other of Affleck's friends that supposedly didn't get along with Ben's wife besides Damon. Kevin Smith said to Yahoo Movies in July 2014 that Garner had essentially destroyed his friendship with Affleck. "We're not tight. I have not been close with him in decades," he griped. "That's old Ben. He's got a wife that don't care for me at all." In addition, Kevin Smith stated that same month at a Silent Bob Speaks tour stop via the New York Daily News, "Jennifer does not share the same sense of humor as me. She She did not like any of my jokes. I was picking on Ben Affleck, making fun of him because I've known him for a really long time, and Jennifer goes, you know, if you keep saying stuff about him, I'm going to kick your bleep. She has a really girly sense of humor and didn't understand that I was kidding. TMZ said that Ben Affleck's gambling habit was a major contributing factor in the breakup. According to TMZ, Affleck was indeed barred from the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas in May 2014 for reportedly counting cards when playing blackjack. Over the years, he supposedly made a sizable fortune playing blackjack. He even reportedly won $800,000 in a single night.
He said something which he regrets. He said
However, Affleck denied being a compulsive gambler and said he's technically not banned from the casino as a whole, noting to details via People, "That's all bull. I wish I could say they were afraid of me in every capacity, but they only said no blackjack." In his speech of congratulations too, following Argo's Best Picture triumph, Ben Affleck expressed gratitude to his current spouse for working on their marriage for 10 Christmases.
I want to thank you for working on our marriage for 10 Christmases.
Whoa, the way that was worded sounds awful, even if it was intended as a compliment. How about, "Thank you, honey, for your support. I love you so much." Or even, "I couldn't have done this without you by my side." That would have sounded much better. And then while Ben Affleck was filming The Town 2009,
Okay.
Just having a bad week.
I like to have a good.
a source informed In Touch Weekly he hit on Blake Lively, but she was not interested at all. There are rumors that he also gushed about Lively in interviews. Jennifer Garner, who co-starred with Affleck on Gossip Girl, may not have been the only one to be concerned about him. While Affleck was filming Gone Girl in 2014, a source informed the National Enquirer Jen was so worried about Ben and Emily Ratajkowski that she asked her pal Neil Patrick Harris to keep an eye on them while on set. If Ben Affleck hadn't allowed his drinking to ruin his marriage, he and Jennifer Garner may still be together. In a 2021 interview with Howard Stern, Affleck acknowledged feeling trapped in their relationship, which caused significant anger. But in reality, he was just trying to express how lonely he was. He had a marriage that didn't work. This happens. It was somebody I love and respect, but to whom I shouldn't be married any longer, he said.
We had a marriage that didn't work. This happens. There's somebody I love and respect.
What I did was I drank a bottle of scotch and fell asleep on the couch, which turned out not to be the solution. Affleck went into further detail in an interview with the New York Times about how much he regrets not doing better in marriage. "The biggest regret of my life is this divorce," he said, acknowledging that as his drinking spiraled, so did their relationship. Shame is really toxic. There is no positive byproduct of shame. It's just stewing in a toxic, hideous feeling of low self-worth and self-loathing. In addition, Ben acknowledged that splitting up was never in his cards during a conversation with Diane Sawyer. "I didn't want to get divorced. I didn't want to be a divorced person. I really didn't want to be a split family with my children," he confessed. "And it upset me because it meant I wasn't who I thought I was." Fortunately, the two have reached a stable position where they co-parent their 3 children while being close friends. Affleck made it pretty clear in the note he wrote for Garner that she will always be someone he holds dear. "Thank you. Thank you for being thoughtful, considerate, responsible, and a great mom and person." Life is full of regrets. I have a feeling Ben Affleck can relate. Let's check out some reasons Ben Affleck regrets marrying Jennifer Lopez.
It taught me not to do interviews.
And the vision that was planted.
We all know Ben and Jen's tumultuous relationship. They've been on and off, and for almost a year now, there have been breakup rumors surrounding them. Well, this may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Stay with me while I paint you a picture. Beautiful people grinning and clinking glasses on a stunning summer's day in Italy with the craggy Amalfi Coast serving as the backdrop. The focal point of the gathering is an immaculately made-up Jennifer Lopez. As she gets ready to take a sip of her drink, she gives the camera a knowing smile. This marked the introduction of JLo's own cocktail line, DeLola. Similar to other well-known Hollywood figures like Sarah Jessica Parker and George Clooney, JLo had aimed to create her own beverage line in order to increase the value of her business. Because her beverage business was one of the things that broke the camel's back, as a close friend of her husband Ben Affleck stated to DailyMail.com. It's also acknowledged that the beverage company was founded before they reconciled, and Ben knew about and encouraged the venture. They even go so far as to imply that in the midst of rumors that their marriage is finally over, it helped Ben, not Jen, decide to call it quits. Why did Ben find this prominent business venture so weird? Well, according to friends, he regarded his wife's sales of vodka and tequila odd because he was a recovering habitual drinker. After all, he had battled his habits for many years. He was reported to be confused when the label was originally introduced in the previous year. The fact that he thought her sole purpose for starting her drink brand was to make hard, cold cash just made him feel more conflicted. Since 2001, when he first sought help for his habitual drinking, Ben has gone to help several times. His marriage to Jennifer Garner ended as a result of his habits. Worse, J-Lo then embarked on a highly visible promotional tour, telling the press how much she enjoys drinking to relax and let loose. She even shared a photo of herself to promote the newest item in the line, showing herself relaxing on a sunbed while wearing a swimming outfit. Ben had to fight to get his life back after overcoming the drink. Ben's buddy said to the Mail, knowing that he had lost everything, including his family's love, and that he would relapse, Jen made the decision to launch her own spritzer line in an attempt to get extra money. Jen and Ben, who featured in Oscar-winning films including Argo and Good Will Hunting, have reportedly already filed their divorce paperwork. They both understand that what they had earlier is no longer there. What appeared to be a moving story of rediscovered love for someone lost has come to a sad end. Before getting married, the couple separated in 2004 after becoming together in 2002 and getting engaged. Following his 2005 marriage to Jennifer Garner, Ben and Garner went on to have 3 kids before divorcing in 2015 and completing their legal separation 3 years later. J-Lo later wed singer-songwriter Marc Anthony, with whom she had twins which were 16 years old. 10 years passed during their marriage. After J-Lo's failed engagement to baseball player Alex Rodriguez in 2021, Ben and Jen reconciled, much to the pleasure of fans and the press around the globe. The next year, they were married in Las Vegas and had a second, more elaborate ceremony at Ben's plantation in Georgia, which was worth $9 million. The pair hasn't been spotted together months before the divorce became official though, with Ben declining to attend J-Lo's Bridgerton-themed 55th birthday celebration just recently. Rather, when the couple listed their $68 million Beverly Hills home for sale, he purchased a $20 million bachelor apartment in Los Angeles. But there were problems even last year in 2023. Ben saw J-Lo's April 2023 drink company launch, Dalola, as a warning indication that she preferred her profession over him. In 2024, their respective desires, his for a quiet existence and hers for unrestricted all-access exposure, came to a head. Even though he tried to give in to her demand for attention, their disparate views on their careers caused their marriage to falter. Ben was the one to pull the plug on their marriage here, a friend stated. He perceived this as picking right back up since Jennifer had led him to believe that she was the same person that she had been when they initially fell in love. Although he dislikes walking the red carpet with celebrities, he did it because she did. He could no longer handle her infatuation with fame. She had to be loved and captured on camera. He felt as though nothing remained sacred for him because she would reveal so much of herself to everyone. This was something she had to do. Her popularity had become an integral part of her identity. J-Lo's friends also report that she had altered her appearance and manner of dressing. She says that performing is more than just a profession to her and that she ultimately felt unable to give it up. Like with her previous 3 marriages, she made the decision to prioritize fame over him. In fact, it seemed like J-Lo was basing a large portion of her recent successful commercial production on their rekindled romance. Some even claimed that he was not exactly thrilled because her new album was all about him and he didn't even like her television program, This Is Me Now, A Love Story. That documentary, which featured Jen's account of her own road to love, was widely panned and failed to connect with viewers, costing millions of dollars. According to a person close to the pair, Ben was incensed. He didn't want her to do this at all. She asked him to invest in it and be involved in a project he was absolutely against. In the end, he was glad it flopped. It too destroyed their marriage. Ben didn't want their love story to be told, only she did. They lost 18 million pounds and it ruined Ben's trust in her. Ben seeing her spread their love letters on a table for others to read as she did on screen infuriated him. This is when he knew that she put fame above love. Indeed, during the documentary, J-Lo showed a book to the camera saying, "This book is a book Ben gave me on our first Christmas back together. It is every letter and every mail that we wrote to each other from 20 years ago and today." She highlighted one note that read, "The Greatest Love Story Never Told" by Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, 2001 to 2010 and counting. But a friend of Ben's said he asked her to not do the documentary because he wanted to keep this stuff private and because it cost too much money, but she did it anyway. He asked her to pull back from doing red carpets and events so much and she wouldn't listen. She dragged him out anyways. It was never about him, it was always about her. The two appeared nervous at the launch of J-Lo's Netflix movie The Mother. She later revealed revealed that they had clashed over her outfit choices, saying, "He'll joke with me sometimes. He'll say things like, 'Where's the rest of that shirt?' I'm like, oh, this one doesn't have anything else." J-Lo abruptly announced to her followers that she was taking time off to be with her children, family, and close friends when she abruptly canceled her planned summer tour. Ben was later seen driving his son Samuel to basketball practice in Santa Monica with actress Jennifer Garner, his ex-wife. The following day, J-Lo showed up to watch Samuel play as well as give her husband an awkward-looking kiss. While his wife has continued to wear her wedding ring, Ben had been spotted recently without it. And then there was their Beverly Hills mansion. Ben, it appears, just thought the price was too high. Friends remark that J-Lo believed that her twins Em and Max, as well as Ben's children Violet, Finn, and Samuel, would be pleased with the house. Nope. Buying that massive house was another huge red flag, said one close to Ben. He didn't want that house because it cost a ridiculous amount of money. It never felt like home to him, and he cannot even believe that he moved into the home. She didn't want a marital home for them to grow old in. She wanted a massive structure that cost more than anyone else's home to flaunt her wealth and her marriage in. She thought that this would make everyone happy. They talked a lot about this. Things also seemed to be generated by a decline in her profession, which she battled so hard to achieve in following the documentary's failure, a source said. She became less popular, less people wanted to see her perform, and this made her irate, and she took it out on Ben. She started to realize her star power was fading, and he told her it was her own fault because she was overexposed. She took the fact that her documentary and album was a flop out on Ben because, as her husband, he was the closest one to her. He asked her to take a step back, and she didn't. He wasn't a huge fan of her new album being so centered around him, and she thought it was beautiful. Notwithstanding the intense feelings surrounding the highly publicized end of their parents' romance, sources indicate that their 5 children are eager to maintain communication. A source said it is hard on the kids, but in the end they are all pretty grown up. Enough grown up to be able to see that it was not working between their parents. The kids will be okay and will stay close. Becoming a family for a minute was fun, and this will always be special in their hearts. But J-Lo, who is 55 years old and has been married 4 times, is currently unmarried. Friends worry she ruins her romantic relationships. She knows she destroyed it all and was super apologetic, but it was too late. One said, "He tried for a couple weeks, giving her the benefit of the doubt, and even wore the wedding ring because she asked him to, so that they could get a little space from the hounding press, but he's done. He found his home and she's not living in it. She knows this, and now it is the time for them to both move on." Ben seems to be giving his divorced wife time to rebrand. J-Lo's friends claim that she altered her appearance and style of clothing. She's smiling in public and she's not acting all like a diva. Her social media is bright and happy, and she's speaking about her true feelings of being fragile. She's staying out of the spotlight and keeping her life private. Basically, Jennifer is now pretending to be the person that Ben thought she was all along. This made him fall in love with her, but he's not going to fall for it a 3rd time. 2 strikes, she's out. They are done.
For Lopez's fairy tale marriage to Ben Affleck became a nightmare. From J-Lo getting jealous of Jennifer Garner, to J-Lo exposing secret love letters that Ben asked her not to them having completely different ideas of what a relationship should be like, to a messy divorce, to passive-aggressive posts, where did it all go wrong? When J-Lo was dealing with her heartbreak, she didn't exactly keep it low-key. She hit social media with some seriously bold moves, posting pics of her behind, throwing out some old shady quotes. It did not take long for people to start talking, and let's just say not all of it was good. For someone as A-list as J-Lo, that public emotional outburst came off as a little tacky. We all know breakups are rough, especially when the whole world is watching, but this was a classic case of maybe think before you post. J-Lo seems to be flaunting her curves, rubbing it in Ben Affleck's face, but the internet wasn't exactly loving this vibe. A lot of fans thought it came off as desperate and reflected poorly on her. It was like she was trying to make him jealous, but instead it just made her look messy. But hey, this whole drama was a reminder that even celebs who we think have perfect lives go through some serious heartbreak. However, it also showed why it's so important to keep your dignity in check, especially when you're feeling all types of emotions. Social media is a great tool for self-expression, but airing your dirty laundry, not so much. Keep it classy, people. And speaking of messy, let's talk about the love letters. J-Lo shared some of Ben's most private love letters that he had specifically asked her not to share. Major oops. Ben, the king of privacy, has always kept his life pretty quiet, despite being one of Hollywood's biggest stars. So when J-Lo went and blasted his heartfelt words to the world, it was like opening a can of drama. Ben wasn't thrilled, people couldn't help but joke about it, calling him Pen Affleck. But Ben, who tries to come off as a pretty chill guy, did admit that it was kind of beautiful in a greatest love story never told kind of way. Now, Ben talked about how he really felt about their social media presence. He was not about that overshare life. In fact, he initially wanted to keep their relationship under wraps because their first go-round was way too public for his comfort. But as we all know, that ship has sailed. They were just two people with different views trying to make it work. But wait. There's more. Right after J-Lo filed for divorce, some seriously bad stories about Ben started hitting the tabloids. A source told People that Ben's supposed mood swings were a huge factor in the breakup. Apparently, he was showing some major extremes, and then it was creating a toxic environment. One insider even said he was so unpredictable with these huge mood swings. I think he was trying to tell the press something, but he was still playing along. Yikes.